Hey everybody, and welcome to BuzzList, the channel that's all about, well, everything. Today we're taking a totally rad trip back in time to the 1980s. So grab your leg warmers, tease up that hair, and get ready to party like it's 1989. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our awesome videos. A huge shout out to all of you who are already subscribed. You guys are the best. All right, let's start with the ultimate hangout spot, the arcade. Remember the feeling of walking into a room filled with the sounds of Pac-Man gobbling dots, Donkey Kong tossing barrels, and Galaga spaceships firing lasers? It was pure magic. The air was thick with anticipation, and the smell of popcorn and pizza was enough to make your mouth water. Every kid emptied their piggy banks hoping to conquer their favorite game and rack up enough tickets for that sweet, sweet prize. And let's not forget the epic battles for the high score, bragging rights for a whole week. And when you finally beat that boss or racked up a new high score, man, that feeling was better than any participation trophy. It was pure 80s arcade glory. Before Spotify and Apple Music, we had these magical plastic rectangles called cassette tapes. They were how we listened to music, shared our favorite bands, and created the ultimate mixtapes for our crushes. Remember spending hours carefully queuing up the perfect song on the radio, finger hovering over the record button. And if you were really fancy, you had a double cassette deck and could duplicate your entire music collection. But the real struggle was when that tape got tangled. We've all been there, staring down at a mess of brown ribbon, pencil in hand, desperately trying to wind it back up. It was a labor of love, my friends. But hey, those mixtapes, those were serious business. They were a way to express yourself, to share a piece of your heart and your musical taste. A carefully curated mixtape was the ultimate romantic gesture, a sign that you really, truly liked someone. Okay, picture this. It's Saturday morning, the sun is barely up, but you're already glued to the TV, pajamas on, cereal bowl in hand. Why? Because it's cartoon time, baby. We're talking He-Man, Transformers, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, all the legendary shows that made Saturday mornings epic. These weren't just cartoons, they were events. You'd gather around the TV with your siblings, or maybe just your dog, eyes glued to the screen, completely engrossed in the adventures unfolding before you. And let's be real, we totally tried to imitate those cool cartoon moves afterward. Don't even try to deny it. Saturday morning cartoons were our gateway to imagination, a chance to escape into worlds filled with talking robots, superheroes, and magical creatures. It was a simpler time, a time when the biggest decision you had to make was which cereal to eat first. The bold fashion of the 80s. All right, let's talk fashion. The 80s were all about bold choices, neon colours, leg warmers, acid wash, jeans, and, of course, the bigger the hair, the better. We're talking hairspray sculptures that defied gravity, perms that could withstand a hurricane, and crimped waves that would make a surfer jealous. And who could forget the shoulder pads? We were all about power dressing, even if it meant looking like we had a linebacker's shoulder pads hidden under our sweaters. Hey, at least we stood out in a crowd, right? But here's the thing about 80s fashion. It was fun. We weren't afraid to experiment, to push boundaries and to express ourselves through our clothing. It was a time of individuality, of embracing the outrageous and of rocking those neon headbands with pride. Hold on to your joysticks, because we're about to enter the world of classic video games. The 80s were a golden age for gaming, with consoles like Atari and Nintendo. This was the era of Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, games that defined a generation. Remember blowing into those cartridges when they wouldn't work, or spending hours trying to beat your high score? Back then, graphics didn't need to be fancy and gameplay was king. We were happy just to navigate those pixelated worlds and save the princess. These games were more than just entertainment, they were a social activity. We'd invite our friends over, crowd around the TV, and spend the entire afternoon battling it out. Let's crank up the volume and talk about the music that defined the 80s. This was the decade of Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince, Whitney Houston, icons who ruled the airwaves and our hearts. From pop to rock, new wave to hip-hop, the 80s music scene was a vibrant tapestry of sound. And who could forget MTV? Music television burst onto the scene, bringing us the magic of music videos. Suddenly, we weren't just listening to our favorite songs, we were watching them come to life. Remember trying to imitate Michael Jackson's moonwalk or Madonna's Vogue dance moves? We all did it. The 80s were a time when music was more than just background noise, it was a cultural phenomenon. We'd rush to the record store to buy the latest cassette singles, blast our favourite tunes from boom boxes the size of suitcases, and dance the night away at school dances. Okay, get ready for a serious dose of nostalgia. Remember drive-in theatres, that magical experience of piling into the family car, or maybe sneaking a date in and watching a movie under the stars? It was the ultimate summer night activity. We'd load up on popcorn, candy and soda, roll down the windows, and settle in for a night of cinematic entertainment. The sound might have been a little staticky, and you might have had to adjust the speaker hanging on your car window, but it was all part of the charm. Drive-ins were more than just a place to watch a movie, they were a community gathering spot. Families would spread out blankets and lawn chairs. Kids would run around playing tag before the movie started, and teenagers would try to sneak a kiss in the back row. It was a simpler time, a time when entertainment was best enjoyed outdoors, surrounded by friends and family. From action figures to dolls, the 80s were a toy lover's paradise. We're talking Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, My Little Pony, Cabbage Patch Kids, toys that captured our imaginations and fueled countless hours of playtime. Remember spending hours building elaborate Lego creations, staging epic battles between He-Man and Skeletor, or creating fantastical worlds for your My Little Ponies? Those toys weren't just plastic and fabric, they were our companions, our confidants, and the stars of our own imaginary universes. And let's not forget the joy of unwrapping a brand new toy on Christmas morning. Whether it was the Millennium Falcon, a Cabbage Patch Kid, or a set of Transformers, those toys held a special kind of magic. They were a symbol of childhood, of imagination, and of the pure, unadulterated joy of play. Fasten your seatbelts, because we're about to take a wild ride through the world of 80s movies. From iconic action flicks to heartwarming coming-of-age stories, the 80s produced some of the most memorable and beloved films of all time. We're talking The Breakfast Club, Back to the Future, E.T., The Goonies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Movies that defined a generation and continue to resonate with audiences today. These films weren't just entertainment, they were cultural touchstones that captured the spirit of the decade. Whether you were a fan of sci-fi adventures, teen comedies, or John Hughes's heartwarming dramas, there was an 80s movie out there for everyone. These films transported us to different worlds, made us laugh, made us cry, and left us with memories that would last a lifetime. All right, let's talk accessories. Because no 80s outfit was complete without a healthy dose of neon sparkle and maybe even a little bit of fringe. We're talking leg warmers, scrunchies, jelly bracelets, neon headbands. The bolder, the brighter, the better. Remember rocking a side ponytail with a scrunchie the size of your fist? Or wearing enough jelly bracelets to rival a rainbow? And who could forget those neon headbands that could make you stand out in a crowd from a mile away? 80s accessories were all about expressing your individuality and embracing the fun, the funky and the fabulous. They were a way to add a proper personality to your outfit and let the world know that you weren't afraid to stand out. And there you have it, folks. 10 things we miss about the totally rad 80s. From arcade games to cassette tapes, big hair to classic movies, the 80s were a time of unforgettable memories and endless fun. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane and hit that subscribe button for more awesome content. And now it's your turn. Share your favourite 80s memories in the comments below. What do you miss most about this iconic decade? Let's keep the 80s spirit alive.